Alrighty, so I've just done the vines, and now what I have done is I just grabbed the moss here, and I've just sort of done the very same thing just with the moss. Okay, so like that, and basically I'm going to overlay it, and the same thing goes. I'm going to hit B for brush, put a mask on it, and then I'm going to hit X. I am going to turn the opacity right up to maximum, just get rid of all of it from the other side there. Okay, now I'm just going to turn it back down to 40 something, and I'm going to just randomly scrape away at it. Okay, that'll do. Okay, now I've got all my mosses, and I might just highlight all of the moss. Where are moss? Okay. Actually, no, I can't do it like that. I won't really worry about it. What I was going to do was just get rid of some of the moss around the plants, but that's just me being meticulous, so I won't worry about it. Basically, I'm just going to get everything, all the moss, actually I'll just do the moss separate. So I'll go right down to the last moss, and I will merge them, and I will just go, I can't merge them, can I? Yeah, because I have combinations of overlay and normal, so that'll sort of mess it up. So I don't want to do that. The other option is if I do have them merged, and I could go back to overlay. It's not quite the same effect. It does have things organized though. But anyway, I'll just leave it like that, and I might just turn the opacity down just a tiny bit so it blends in a bit. Okay, that's full. Yeah, about there will do. And I'll also do the same with... Actually, no, my apologies, it wasn't the moss, it was the vines that I'll probably have trouble with. The moss is actually pretty good. Yeah, see, if I merge all these, then it's going to lose the dual layer that the extra layers, I think. Okay, no, it didn't. I don't think. Okay, it did a little bit. That actually worked out better by merging them. It looks a little bit more blended. So I might keep it like that. Okay, and now I'm going to go to our window, medieval cage window. Okay. I'll shrink this down. Okay, now we just got to sort of think about how big this window would be compared to the tower. That's obviously way too big. So I'm going to drop it right down to around here somewhere. put it in the middle. Now I'll just zoom back and have a little look. I reckon it could be a bit bigger. About there somewhere. Okay. I reckon I'll have it about there like that. Okay, now what I need to do is I also need to create a mask on that one, and I need to zoom right in. I am going to select probably this one, a blended, opacity of just above 50. Okay, I'm just going to shrink down my brush and I'm just going to scrub over it and blend it in. If I had a graphics tablet, I highly recommend graphics tablet for this sort of stuff. It's a bit of a nightmare with a mouse if you ask me. So I'm just going to do a rough job. As you can see, it's sort of blended in there and it looks like it sort of belongs. So if we zoom back, okay, you can see. Okay, so now I'm going to grab that, go to either hit V or move tool, and I'm going to do what we've done before and hold down the Alt key, and I'm going to put another one in. Zoom back and you can, now that should sort of blend in because we've got overlaid, so I don't want it to be too much inside it, otherwise it will probably look a bit odd. Actually I could probably drop it down a little bit more, and then we could always just rub out this bit here. This sort of looks alright around it, but maybe this bit doesn't, but we can get back to that. For instance, I can go here, hit E for erase, and we can just erase that out. There we go. Okay, cool. Alright, now we can grab both of these and do what we've done regularly, and Alt, make sure it's all lined up. Keep holding Alt, just keep moving it. It should snap. Okay, so that's even. Now all we have to do is just touch up our moss here. So E, and it's mostly just inside here that just doesn't really look right, does it? I don't like that. It actually looks good. It's mostly just the inside bit. Okay. Just get rid of it from the cage. There we go. It's looking pretty mad. Okay, this one here looks a little bit off. Actually, a few of them, the last two look a bit off. So I'm going to grab the last four. 1, 2, 3, 4 should be these ones. I'm going to hit V and just move them sort of, yeah, that's it. These two here, I'll tick auto select, have that selected, I'll tick that, hold down shift and tick that. I'll just move them over. Oh, whoops, the moss is on top, so 1, 2, okay, so that one and that one, and sometimes, whoops, sometimes you just have to zoom in a little bit for it to stop snapping. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that one's good. the next two, that'll do. The next two. And do. Okay, that'll do. Alright. Now all we have left really is the door. Okay, and the door, we want to have the door on top. So firstly, I'll just pick one, doesn't really matter which one, this one will do. Just have to get the size and that. Okay, now I don't want it to be too huge for the tower. I might even actually manually do it, make it a bit higher, not so fat. Something like that. Okay, the distance is right. Probably line it up with the, there we go, it should line up with the window here. It's really just a matter of the size. Maybe a bit smaller. Something like that perhaps. Okay, we'll get back to it. Now, maybe a little bit smaller. Okay. Now we just do the same thing. Mask. Brush. Open it up a bit. And I'm just going to start. We need this on top, don't we? So go right up to the top. Drop it on top. Make sure the mask is selected. And we'll just go around and blend it in. I'm going to change to a harder X. I'm just going to rub this back. Okay, now just the harder one, I can just try and get it a bit closer to the stone. Of course, like I said before, graphics pad would be so much easier, is so much easier, should I say. Just going to take these dark bits out because they look a bit odd. Okay, now what we can do is just try and find the moss and stuff, which would probably be the fourth from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, probably around here somewhere. Oh, hang on. Oh, I merged them all, didn't I? See, this is the problem about merging stuff. Okay, I've got an idea. What we can do, that's the moss. Okay, so I reckon we can get this and put that up here. What's the difference between... Okay, I like that a bit better, I think. Okay, now I might put in the middle. And let me think. On the I'm going to put it, you know, okay, I'm going to put it underneath the door, and then basically what I can do now is I can grab the moss and get the eraser, maybe use a different brush, okay, and I'll put a mask on this. I'll also put a mask on this one, okay, and then so that way once we don't erase anything, which I accidentally did, just okay, we don't want to erase anything, we want to go to brush, okay, and we want to actually, okay, here we go, and we want to use the brush, so that way when we wipe stuff off we can always put it back on if we want to. So I can go X and then I can rub it all back, you know, if I don't like the changes that I just made. But first I think we should do, okay, so obviously we don't want any of that around the door, so I'll uncover the door. Okay, the moss. Just always make sure that you have the mask selected whenever you make your changes. Okay. Now I'm going to lower the opacity right down. Okay, I think that looks cool. I could play around forever. Okay, so I think that looks pretty mad. Alrighty, so with that we've basically just finished our texture, pretty much. So I am going to pause for a second, and then I'm going to save this and then bring it into 3ds Max. So I'll be right back.